friends, sometimes when test writers are creating a test, they just come up with random things. But sometimes they come up with things, with wording, with passages that actually have a lot of value to you as the reader, and maybe you learn something or you practice something. And that is the case with this session here in this lesson. So we're going to be going over interviewing tips, which I always work with my students on those. Now, if you're a student, click down below. I have free resources for you. And if you're a teacher, also, I would love for you to join me, adult ed teachers, special place in my heart, special place in the world, because we are making a difference in students' lives. So I have free things for you as well. So click the link down below. You can get my student success guide, retention guide that will help you keep your students, and I provide weekly information, strategies that will really help you in your adult ed program. So I have free resources for students and for teachers, so click the link down below. Okay, let's get started. So if you watched my last video, you saw that you don't really need to read all of it, okay? This is not a reading comprehension test. This is definitely looking more at the grammar, the writing skills, that sort of thing. So I just kind of like to skim over it and so I have a general idea of what's going on before I answer those grammatical questions. Okay, so here we have tips for a successful job interview. So in the days preceding the interview, then we have step 1, research the employer. Step 2, know what to say. What would you like to tell me about yourself? Or why do you want to work here? Tell me about a time you made a mistake. Why should we hire you? Do you have any questions for me? All good questions for preparing for an interview, right? Okay, step 3, practice being interviewed. And step 4, look sharp, plan ahead, be confident, and expect surprises. Okay, now let's take a look at those questions. 11. Use the company's website as well as other resources to gather information about products, services, who the staff is, and accomplishments. Okay, this is called parallel structure. So you want to make sure that things are very consistent. So we have products, services, who the staff is, doesn't really align with it, right? Products, services, accomplishments. See how each one of those is one word, it's nice, it's organized, but who the staff is just really doesn't flow as well with the wording that is chosen. So what could we say instead of who the staff is? We could just say staff, right? So now we've got products, services, staff, and accomplishments. Bang, bang, bang. It makes much more sense. It flows a lot better. So remember this when you're writing lists to have things nice in order. So now we're going to take a look at transitions. So sometimes transitions work really well and other times specific transitions don't work as well. So with transitions, I like to imagine that I'm driving along a road and I have a GPS, and the GPS sometimes tells me, keep going, right? 10 more miles. Or maybe the GPS tells me, okay, you're going to be turning right. And so I kind of know those are transitions. It's just giving me a heads up on what I'm going to be doing. So it's important to have transitions in writing, including in your own writing. So when you work on the essay portion, make sure that you add a few transitions throughout. Okay, let's read what it says. During interviews, applicants should describe themselves in ways that best show how well they fit in the position. Nonetheless, be ready to provide information in the following. And then it goes on. So is nonetheless really the best transition? No, it's not, right? So for that reason, there we go. That's showing, okay, how you fit in that position. For that reason, do this. Okay, so why not? Oh, that kind of gets rid of that professional tone that we have, right? So C is not going to be it. A is not it. Instead is saying do something different, right? And we're not saying do something different. This is the GPS that's saying keep going straight, keep going, right? So that's not it either. So our answer is B. For that reason, do this. Okay, 13. Looks like we are about to start a list. Okay, so when we start a list, sometimes we do different things, right? So let's read what it says. Be ready to provide information in the following areas: education and training, any former jobs, especially ones related to the new position, strengths and weaknesses. Okay, first of all, this is not related to the question, but it's related to the list. So remember how we just talked about parallel structure? You want to have this, and then this, and then this. When your lists are a little bit wordier, like this, so here we have education and training, Next thing in the list, any former jobs, especially ones related to the new position. What we're going to do is we're going to put in these semicolons to separate the items in the list. Okay, so do you think that we're going to have a semicolon at the introduction? No. Are we going to have a period at the introduction? No, because right after that, it's a list. It's not a sentence, right? So that gets rid of A also. What about just a plain comma? No. So we're going to use a colon. So that would be the 2 dots, right? So areas, colon, here's the list, right? So C is the answer. 14. Okay, I love when questions are written like this because it's so easy to tell, okay, they're all the same except look what's different, the commas, right? So this one has a comma after qualities and after experiences. This one just after qualities. This one doesn't have any. And the first one, A, is just after experiences. So let's read the sentence and see what we need to do if we need those commas or not. Okay. What would you like to tell me about yourself? Applicants can talk about qualities, especially talents and prior experiences, that make them a particularly good fit for the job. Okay, so if we're reading this, we could actually eliminate especially talents and prior experiences. So we could just have applicants can talk about qualities that make them a particularly good fit for the job. Okay, so with that being said, this is extra information that's just adding to the writing. So what we want to do when we add extra information, this is called an appositive, is we're going to put a comma before the extra information and a comma after the extra information. So that means that B is our answer. The other ones, they're missing those commas, right? Question number 15. So this one here is not going to be quite as easy as our last one because all the sentences are differently. We're looking at which one words the information a little bit better. Okay, so pay close attention to the tenses, the grammar, that sort of thing. So let's read what it says. So tell me about a time you made a mistake. How did you resolve it? Choose a mistake that taught a lesson. Okay, now we're going to dive right into these sentences and see which one would best combine the underlying information. So emphasizing the lesson, talk about acting differently in later situations. There we go. That sounds pretty good, right? B, talk about how to act differently in later situations that emphasize the lesson. Okay, so this right here, notice how it says how to act differently in later situations that emphasize the lesson. So is that saying in later situations emphasize the lesson? Kind of is. So that's not what we want, right? We want to emphasize the lesson and talk about that, right? And then acting differently, not acting differently and emphasizing the lesson as you act differently. Okay, C. With the lesson being emphasized, talk in later situations. Wait, pause. Are we talking in later situations? No, we're talking right now in the interview. So that's not it. Talk about how to act differently in later situations with the emphasized lesson. Again, that doesn't work either, okay? So what we're doing here is we're going over misplaced modifiers. Not that you need to know what that actually means, but here we want to emphasize the lesson and talk. So emphasizing the lesson and talk, we need to keep those together. Don't separate those. Again, we're emphasizing the lesson in the talk. We're not emphasizing the lesson in the later situations. So A is the answer. Question 16. Okay, so our underlined sentences, we have to combine them together. Again, read them out loud if you need to so that you can hear it, and that might help you answer the questions. So I'm actually not even going to read the underlined part because I'm going to dive right into the questions. That'll save you about, 5 seconds. So A, ask for more information about the job. Notice how all of these say the same thing, right? Ask for more information about the job. A, comma, such as hours or pay, and for clarification of anything discussed during the interview. This is kind of like the one that we just did where we have that appositive where there's that extra information, right? So such as hours or pay, right? So we could just say ask for more information about the job and for clarification of anything discussed during the interview, but that extra information is that hours and pay. So A actually looks really good, but let's look at the other options. Ask for more information about the job hours or job pay, and that clarifies anything discussed during the interview. So that's a little bit, it doesn't flow very well because it says ask for more information about the job hours or job pay. And now I'm thinking job hours and job pay. I'm not thinking about asking for more information that clarifies. So this one is not worded well because I would need to repeat the ask again. So, and ask for clarification. There we go. So B is a little wordy. It doesn't make sense. C, ask for more information about the job's hours or pay, and it's clarifying anything discussed. Okay, again, this one, it just doesn't have that good flow to it. D, ask for more information about the job, such as hours, pay, and to clarify anything discussed during the interview. So this one has the clarifying anything in the interview. That's saying that is the information about the job. It's not, right? It's different. Okay. So A is our answer. Ask for more information about the job, such as the hours or pay, and for clarification of anything discussed during the interview. This one makes much more sense. Notice how putting that comma before and after the such as hours or pay, that as the extra information makes it so that the sentence makes sense and it's not all jumbled together. Question 17. At the conclusion of the role playing, ask that friend of yours to tell you what he or she really thought. Okay, so first of all, do we say really thought? We might speak that, but is that going to maintain that professional tone in the writing? No. So let's get rid of that. So now we have, at the conclusion of the role playing, ask to hear something that could help. I mean, maybe, but that's a little bit wordy, right? Oh, look at this. At the conclusion of the role playing, ask for constructive feedback that definitely aligns with the tone, the professionalism. Let's look at D though. At the conclusion of the role playing, ask if it went okay. Right now, that's something that we can definitely say, but C maintains that professional tone and it's concise, right? It's not wordy like that first one. So C is our answer. 18. Remember how I talked to you about how there are little hints in the rest of the passage? Well, here's a hint for you. Okay, so let's read the question and then I'll share the hint. Before the interview, get plenty of rest. Make sure to eat a nutritious meal and allowing extra time to get to the destination. Now, just by me reading it, hopefully you caught, well, that sounds a little weird, right? So allowing is not going to be the answer. So notice here how it says get, make. So we have just plain verbs. So we're going to stick with that, right? So get plenty of rest, make sure to eat a nutritious meal, and allow extra time. So D sort of maintains that consistency. We want that consistency. This goes right back when we have a list. Make sure that things are consistent. And we made it to the end. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't already, clicked the link down below for student resources and teacher resources. Definitely make sure that you do that. Friends, thank you for being here. Oh, if you haven't already, click subscribe down below. That really helps me out. Give this video a thumbs up. Oh, and also leave me a comment, right? Say hello back to you. Okay, friends, thanks for being here. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. Okay, peace. God bless.